You've made several mentions during this hearing today about the need for Parliament to do its work. You've said it's the work of Parliament to help counter what you call the ever-increasing threat of foreign interference. You've pled with us, made pleas to us to focus on the issue of foreign interference. Our job here is to hold the government accountable. It's set up in the opening clauses of the Constitution Act 1867. Section 18 gives us immense powers to do that. The problem is Parliament has not been able to do its work because our hands have been tied by the government. We haven't been able to get the answers we are seeking to questions concerning the PRC's foreign interference in Canada. Government documents aren't released that are requested, and when they are, they're often so heavily redacted that they make little sense. Government witnesses aren't forthcoming with answers to our questions. And not only are we not able to do our work because of that, the government is deliberately bypassing Parliament through the very entities that you've referenced in your report and in your testimony, NSICOP and CIRA, and even with respect, sir, your position, all of these entities are appointed by the government. They're appointments of the Prime Minister and serve at the pleasure of the Prime Minister. And so we've been unable to do our work. It's been incredibly frustrating. Over the last 4 years, we've spent a lot of time and effort holding hearings on foreign interference. We've had 4 committees of this House examine the matter, the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Subcommittee on International Human Rights, the Canada-China Committee, and this committee, the Standing Committee on Procedure and House Affairs. And by my count, these 4 committees alone have held 70 meetings where PRC foreign interference was examined, heard from 364 witnesses, received 152 hours of testimony consisting of 1,902 pages of evidence, resulting in 5 reports with 31 specific recommendations relating to foreign interference. But despite all this work, we still haven't gotten the answers we sought from the government. And with respect, neither will you, because in your first report, you've indicated that your upcoming hearings will not be focusing on who knew what and when, and that the focus will not be on looking at government records and speaking to government personnel. So if Parliament hasn't been able to get the answers over the last 4 years, and you're not going to seek the answers in your upcoming hearings, and we're not getting a public inquiry with all the powers of subpoena, all the powers to call witnesses and to gather evidence, then how on earth are we to get the answers we need to play our constitutional role and hold this government accountable?
Madam Chair, thank you for those questions. And I should say that my counsel and I spent a very profitable hour and a half or 2 hours with Mr. Chong going through some of these things and benefiting enormously from the work that he himself has done on this matter and other matters. First of all, NSICOP and NCIRA, assisted by leaders of the 3 major parties, I hope, will have an opportunity to review our report, review our conclusions, and find out if there's fault in us not assessing responsibility where it lies. With respect to the question of the inability of Parliament to move government, we will be looking very carefully at the oversight bodies, in particular NCIRA, which has been in place since 2019, and NSICOP, which has been in place since 2019. And I would be very surprised if, given the expert testimony we'll have from foreign intelligence experts and advice that we get from you, Mr. Chong, which we will very much welcome, including what you've said has been done over 4 years, of having a much more strengthened, robust role of those 2 committees to provide proper oversight and ensure that the operations of our foreign interference oversight is much more effective than it is at the present time.
Thank you for that answer, Mr. Johnston. I'd like to also follow up and ask you a question about how you can restore public trust and confidence in our institutions. 8 months ago, when this foreign interference scandal first blew wide open, reasonable people could have argued that public trust could be restored without an independent public inquiry. But that door closed a long time ago. The House of Commons, 3 times in the last 3 months, has voted for an independent public inquiry. The majority of Canadians in polling want a public inquiry. You, however, have recommended against a public inquiry. Do you not see how recommending against a public inquiry undermines confidence in our democratic institutions?
Thank you again for that question, Mr. Chong. What we have recommended and what we intend to do in the next 5 months is to have public hearings on these very important questions of, are our systems adequate? They are not. How do we improve them in very substantial measures? And to focus on that as a really important matter of Parliament and our agencies and for the public generally to ensure that we do a much better job than we have at the present time.
I hope you're enjoying this channel as much as I enjoy putting the material on here. This is not just about politics. I sing some of my favorite songs from the Great American Songbook. And you can also watch my latest show where we do some of the news you're not going to hear anywhere else. But please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. If you want to be part of this station, please be a subscriber. We want you.